David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, the breaking news right now, the emergency flood rescues underway at this hour in the east. Rising waters trapping drivers, sweeping through homes, the tornado in New Jersey. Also tonight, the tropical storm slamming ashore. And tonight, hear the couple holding hands in their reclining chairs as a tornado hits, telling each other we will die together, their harrowing story. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. Also tonight, honoring America's fallen in the U.S. war in Iran. President Trump saluting during the dignified transfer as 4 American soldiers are brought home. Tonight, launching a 12th night of strikes now. Also breaking, the U.S. nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. 9/11 families outraged tonight. Martha Raddatz reporting from the region. In New York City tonight, ABC News now obtaining the video showing the fiery attack in Lower Manhattan, what it shows. Tonight, the growing mystery surrounding the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, who died during a boat trip to an island with friends. Tonight, what an independent autopsy now says. Breaking now, the urgent manhunt across multiple states for a woman accused of murder. Authorities say a father has been found in a shallow grave. Tonight, the Jeffrey Epstein case, a former modeling scout who introduced young women to Jeffrey Epstein found dead in his home. His name in the Epstein files more than 2,000 times. Across the country tonight, the violent intestinal illness now spreading. 41 states now, more than 11,000 cases. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. telling ABC News it is under control. Tonight, the scene in a packed parking lot, you'll see it, the bear sending people running. In the Northeast, the semi-truck taking down multiple power lines. Tonight, the worker trapped inside a gas station sign 130 feet up. The beloved bald eagle Jackie in critical condition. And new video tonight showing what may have happened. And tonight, Star Trek actor William Shatner revealing he and his daughter both battled stage 4 cancers at the same time, saying, imagine being given just months to live. His message for everyone tonight.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news. There are emergency flood rescues underway right now along the East Coast. At this hour, flash flooding from the Carolinas to Virginia, drivers trapped. The images coming in tonight, water rushing through homes and businesses in West Virginia. The National Guard has been deployed at this hour, the governor declaring a state of emergency tonight. More than a dozen tornadoes reported in at least 6 states already, including a confirmed tornado in Cape May, New Jersey. Heavy rains opening up a huge sinkhole. This is Providence, Rhode Island right here. And tonight, Tropical Storm Bertha now making landfall in Louisiana. Watches and warnings up at this hour from Alabama to Texas. Heavy rain, potentially damaging winds tonight. So Lee Goldberg is standing by with the forecast, and Victor Oquendo in New Orleans, where this tropical storm has now made landfall. Victor.
Good evening, David. Tropical Storm Bertha has come ashore and is churning along the Gulf Coast. It comes as we're tracking emergency water rescues along the East Coast. Tonight, West Virginia National Guard rescue vehicles out in force as record rain sends rivers raging. Terrifying video shows what families were up against when the rains came in Georgetown, West Virginia. Rising creeks trapping Bobby Jo Monnet and her family. In Buchanan, Johnny Reed grabbing his son as his home security camera captures images of his shed and ATV washing away. Reed and his family tell ABC News they're safe tonight. The governor declaring a state of emergency, sharing this aerial video of devastated communities. Overnight in Nashville, swift water teams rescuing multiple people from vehicles. Police in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, patrolling flooded streets, carrying this woman to safety from her flooded car. The powerful system spawning more than a dozen reported tornadoes across 6 states. This one in Owenton, Kentucky, destroying a barn.
Hang on, we're gonna die together. We're gonna die.
Chris and Sharon Palmer's home in Grayson County also destroyed. They rode out the storm holding hands in these reclining chairs. Thankfully, they're okay. New York City's parkways flooding, and straight-line winds snap trees in front of drivers. This massive waterspout spotted off the Jersey Shore near Cape May. And in Stanhope, New Jersey, they're cleaning up from a confirmed tornado there. Meanwhile, along the Gulf Coast, red flags flying and beaches closed as Tropical Storm Bertha makes landfall in St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana. Streets flooding around Biloxi late today. And David, just look at what Tropical Storm Bertha is doing to Lake Pontchartrain. Those massive waves crashing up against the wall. So while the storm is on the move, it is by no means done with New Orleans just yet. There is more rain and wind expected through the night. David.
Victor Oquendo leading us off here. Victor, thank you. Let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Lee Goldberg with us tonight as well. Hi, Lee.
Hey, David, and the center of Bertha is less than 25 miles away from New Orleans off to the southeast right now. Thankfully, it is not a strong tropical storm, but it did make landfall earlier this afternoon. There will be impacts from Louisiana to Texas over the next 24 hours along the coast. Bands of heavy rain, gusty winds, up to 3 feet of storm surge and dangerous rip currents until it moves inland tomorrow night. We're very concerned about the flash flood concerns over parts of the mid-Atlantic. This is the same front that brought the tornadoes here in the Northeast yesterday. It is crawling through the mid-Atlantic and Carolinas. Flood watches in effect, 2-inch-an-hour rainfall rates and significant flash flood threat into Friday for southeastern Virginia and North Carolina, up to 6 inches of rain in North Carolina. David?
Tracking it all with us right here, Lee Goldberg tonight. Thanks, Lee. Tonight, the U.S. war in Iran. The U.S. has launched a 12th night of attacks now, and today the moving images honoring America's fallen in this war. President Trump saluting during the dignified transfer of 4 American soldiers as they arrived at Dover Air Force Base. First Lieutenant Tyler Feehan from Hawaii, Private First Class Isabella Gonzalez from Texas, Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton from North Carolina, and Sergeant Angel Rampersad from Queens, New York. We have also learned tonight the U.S. has now made a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. Many 9/11 families outraged tonight. Martha Raddatz from Jordan again this evening.
Tonight, families in mourning after the dignified transfer of the 4 American soldiers killed in the war with Iran. President Trump attending the solemn ceremony, saluting the returning soldiers. Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton of North Carolina killed in Iraq, and the 3 soldiers killed after an Iranian attack on an American airbase in Jordan. The youngest, 19-year-old Isabella Gonzalez of Texas. Sergeant Angel Rampersad, 28, of Ozone Park, New York, and 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan of Hawaii. The president later flying the Feehan family to Georgia on Air Force One, thanking them at a rally there hours later.
To Sherry and Stephen and David, we will carry Tyler's memory in our hearts forever, and I just want to thank you. It's an honor to have you here today. Please. He's looking down right here. He's so proud right now.
And tonight, a stark new threat. The president now warning that for every Iranian strike on a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant inside Iran, including the capital Tehran. Deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure is a potential war crime under international law. And tonight, while vowing to stop Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon, the Trump administration signing a landmark nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia to allow them to develop a civil nuclear program and enrich uranium. The agreement sparking fierce backlash among 9/11 families who urged the White House not to move forward with the deal, while litigation over Saudi Arabia's alleged ties to the 2001 terrorist attacks remains unresolved in federal court. But David, tonight, that sobering reminder of the human toll in this war as we watched the return of those 4 fallen soldiers. They are among 18 American service members lost since this war began. A war that nearly 5 months later is rapidly escalating. And David, we are just learning that the Houthi rebels made good on their threat to attack ships in the Red Sea. We've heard they've attacked 2 ships tonight. David?
Martha Raddatz with the breaking developments from Amman tonight. Martha, thank you. In New York City tonight, ABC News has now obtained the video showing that fiery attack at the federal building in Lower Manhattan. What this video now shows, and here's Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, ABC News has obtained this video showing all of what the FBI called an anti-government attack on the federal building in Lower Manhattan. The 3-pronged attack unfolded in less than 2 minutes.
Oh, my God!
The suspect there in the lower right corner wearing a helmet first sets off fireworks that shoot into the air, then toward people on the sidewalk, before a final burst as 2 pedestrians stroll by. The suspect then retrieves a BB rifle. The FBI said he fired several shots. Finally, the suspect, 43-year-old former Army Private Andrew Arabaka, grabs an orange bucket filled with flammable liquid, dumps it on the stairwell, and lights it on fire. He appears to throw a box on the flames before a security guard rushes over and pins him against the fence, then wrestles him to the ground. The FBI said Arabaca came armed with bad intentions and a small arsenal he had amassed for months.
He had 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 knives, fixed blade knives, 6 incendiary devices or fireworks, and he had some other destructive items.
The suspect's being held tonight, David, on an arson charge. He's not yet entered a plea. His lawyer said he suffers from an underlying mental health issue. Federal prosecutors said what he's accused of doing was unacceptably dangerous. David?
Aaron Katersky on this again tonight. Aaron, thank you. We turn now to the mystery surrounding the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, who died during a boat trip to an island with friends. Tonight, what an independent autopsy now says. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the agonizing wait for answers for the parents of Nolan Wells after the autopsy they commissioned found the cause and manner of the 18-year-old's death to be undetermined.
There's so many people out in the public asking all of these questions, but the only question that we have is what happened to our son.
Wells vanished during a July 4th boat trip to a remote barrier island, and his body was recovered 2 days later. Tonight, sources telling ABC News, Wells was found wearing only swim trunks face down in the water, consistent with a drowning. The state's autopsy is still pending. The family autopsy found there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries, but described an area of red discoloration on the back of his head.
That's a signal to me that the pathologist is not certain that it's due to trauma. Discoloration can happen from lots of different things, and especially in a decomposed body, discoloration could just be a consequence of decomposition.
The pathologist said he could not observe the airway and lungs for water because the Mississippi medical examiner had already removed organs and part of the neck, pointing out that is common practice.
Even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time.
Officials in Mississippi say once the autopsy report is complete with toxicology results, the DA will present it to a grand jury. It's not clear when it will be released to the public. David?
Pierre Thomas in Washington. Pierre, thank you. Tonight, the urgent manhunt underway across multiple states at this hour. A woman accused of murder. A father has been found in a shallow grave. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, authorities across several states, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, are on the hunt for this woman, an accused murderer on the run who investigators believe killed 43-year-old father Jason Coldhart. Police say 38-year-old Isabel Johnson was last seen on June 26th, sounding anxious on this surveillance video from a business.
I'm just trying to get back to my house.
Authorities had discovered Coldhart's body the day before in Freeport, Florida, buried in a shallow grave. He'd been missing since May. Law enforcement say the suspect is a master manipulator, saying she's used several aliases and disguises, and they believe she had help. 5 people have been arrested, accused of providing Johnson with transportation, a cell phone, and a place to stay out of state.
They've been charged with accessory after the fact because they provided some support to her, but also obstruction just because they lied to us.
The victim's cousin is now begging the public for help.
I want her to face justice. I want her to have to look his son in the eyes.
David, authorities say Johnson has likely cut and dyed her hair to conceal her appearance. They are counting on the public's help to try to find her. David.
Trevor Ault tonight. Trevor, thank you. This evening, dramatic video of the tense moments before a fatal police shooting this afternoon in Madison, Wisconsin. Officers can be seen struggling with a suspect. Police said they were responding to a call of a person checking parked vehicles. They say the suspect pulled out a knife. Police say one officer fired his weapon, wounding the suspect, who later died. 4 officers tonight on administrative leave, pending an investigation now. We turn now to the Jeffrey Epstein case. A former modeling scout who introduced young women to Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his home outside Paris. James Longman with us tonight. James.
David Daniel Siad, a one-time modeling scout for Jeffrey Epstein, was found dead in his home outside Paris on Monday. That's according to French authorities. Siad's name appears over 2,000 times in the Epstein files released by the DOJ. In emails, Siad connected Epstein to young women he recruited from around the world. Some, he would note, were teenagers, writing in one correspondence, "I feel like fishermen sometime, I catch quick." Siad told reporters he brought young aspiring models to Epstein's apartment in Paris, but repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. claiming he had been misled by Epstein and thought he was recruiting the women for legitimate casting calls. Before his death, Siad was reportedly under investigation in France for alleged trafficking and other sex crimes. A cause of death has not yet been determined, but his lawyer tells ABC News Siad was innocent and under intense stress because of the allegations. David.
James Longman in London tonight. James, thanks. Tonight back in this country, that violent intestinal illness now spreading. Now 41 states, more than 11,000 cases. And here's Elizabeth Schulze with what you need to know.
Tonight, cases of that parasitic stomach illness skyrocketing to record levels. More than 11,000 people have been sickened in 41 states. It comes just 24 hours after Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tried to reassure the public.
Does the federal government have this outbreak under control right now?
We do have the outbreak under control. We have done extensive forensics, epidemiological forensics, and we've identified the source of the outbreak.
The FDA has linked 1,600 cases to lettuce supplied to Taco Bell in 5 states. Officials say the likely source of that Cyclosporiasis outbreak is Taylor Farms iceberg lettuce from a farm in Mexico. All the companies potentially affected have removed the lettuce from their supply. In New York, Chase Strangio says he was one of more than 40 people sickened after eating a boxed lunch at a corporate event and had symptoms for weeks.
The main difference between this illness from the Cyclospora parasite and other stomach bugs was that it would not go away. It lasted a long time. I had ongoing pain.
David, there are more than double the number of cases we see in a typical year, and we're only halfway through the season. David.
You'll stay on this, Elizabeth. Thanks so much. When we come back tonight, just in this evening, look at this, the alarming scene outside a hospital. A man armed with a machete, police responding late today. Dramatic video of the confrontation with officers, and you'll see it in a moment. Tonight, the scene in a packed parking lot, the bear sending people running. In the Northeast, the semi-truck taking down multiple power lines. And tonight, right here, Star Trek actor William Shatner revealing he and his daughter both battled stage 4 cancers. His message for everyone tonight, and this is powerful, in a moment. Tonight here, the alarming scene, a man armed with a machete forcing a lockdown at a medical center near Los Angeles. Dramatic video showing the suspect in the parking lot there after an earlier police chase. Officers confronting the suspect, opening fire. Authorities say the suspect was injured, expected now to face multiple charges. Some scary moments at a crowded parking lot in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Look at this, a black bear sending people racing for their vehicles. One man seen taking a photo of the bear a little close from comfort. The bear then crossing the street and headed to a nearby river. Authorities in Toms River, New Jersey tonight say a semi-truck barreling through, taking down power lines on a busy stretch of road. A forklift on the truck catching the power lines there on Route 70, no injuries. When we come back tonight, the beloved bald eagle Jackie in critical condition tonight. We have new video showing what may have happened. And Star Trek actor William Shatner and his daughter battling stage 4 cancers, and their message tonight. It's powerful. To the index, and this is something. A man trapped at a gas station sign 130 feet up in the air. Look at this. The worker trapped outside Chicago and Wilmington for hours. The lift he used to get there malfunctioned. A special lift then brought in, and first responders were able to get to him. Tonight, we've learned beloved bald eagle Jackie is in critical condition. Experts say Jackie got into a territorial fight with 2 younger eagles. Jackie was rescued, unable to fly. She's alert and eating. Thousands, of course, follow Jackie in shadow and that nest cam. When we come back here tonight, Star Trek actor William Shatner and his daughter right here. Their battle and their message.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by Progressive.
Tonight, actor William Shatner revealing he and his daughter both battled stage 4 cancers at the same time, saying, imagine being given months to live. Tonight, both are cancer-free. Tonight, actor William Shatner and his daughter Melanie revealing a very personal health battle. They fought at the same time, both facing stage 4 cancers.
Gentlemen, beam me aboard.
William Shatner, 95 years old now, has been a TV and film icon for decades.
Risk is our business.
His defining role in Star Trek, but it's his role as father he says he cherishes most. It was 4 years ago Shatner's daughter Melanie, at age 57, was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Less than a year later, Shatner himself diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, a malignant melanoma that had spread to his lungs and brain.
His response was like, I'm going to be fine. You just were like steamroll, like the way you do. You just steamroll through it like I'm stage 4.
I don't believe I'm going to.
Truly.
Tonight, in an exclusive interview with People magazine, both father and daughter revealing they are now cancer-free, pointing to groundbreaking treatments and their family.
Fear is blinding. Fear mitigates everything. Fear is a wall. If you're told you're going to die, well, I better get busy and do something. You better get busy. No time, but now.
We are so glad they're cancer-free and now helping others. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.